I'm Lynn with Educating with Wisdom, and I am the ambassador for Heaven's creating and protecting angels and goddesses over life. Thanks. That is a difficult thing for me to say, but given all the different types of peoples that I have to look after and the various embassies that I've already reached out to, and the paradigms that need to be worked with in terms of healing, then it's important that I use this. Now, at this point, I'm addressing this tape generally specifically to the school district of Palm Beach County because I'm going to put a case in, but to everyone at large as well. In terms of Palm Beach County, they may say that I'm outside of statute of limitation. Well, given Mr. Obama's consent decree and that nobody would investigate these cases, that it's very important that these things come out, given the level that I have been to the FBI about the cyber stalking and the cyber monitoring and the things that came out, given that I have already been to the Florida Commission on Human Relations, given that Palm Beach County lied to the EEOC, and lying while under investigation to the EEOC is a federal crime, right? I don't know why this is looking differently. It's important that I reach out to them. But one of the reasons why, and one of the reasons why the Lord has led me to reach out to you, is we have a unique opportunity. Mr. Trump was innocent of charges, and I have known this since 2016. I went to the Russians in 2017, in the summer of 2017. I put forth a proposal in that 2017 that I have been asked to go forward with, and it was Barack Obama and his, we're going to call it the deep state, but I really want to call it the LGBT group, because I don't want to say that it's about just African Americans or just Islams, or I don't know what to call it, actually. Evil. We'll just call it the evil group. And because there's evil people all over the place and in each group. So the issue with education, and people tend to dismiss education, like they tend to just blame education instead of seeing the very good things. I'm a whistleblower against Palm Beach County, but I've been a whistleblower for a very long time over a long, regarding education and in other areas. And it goes back to Canada, where I witnessed the invalidation of a language arts assessment that was done throughout the province, which helped to prop up the Francophone system, erroneously prop up the Francophone system, and this was in 2001. As well, I was a whistleblower at the New Brunswick Law Society against my former lawyer, but also against what was happening to women that were being abused, and that preferential treatment was given to sexually deviant men, all right, and that they were allowed to abuse their women and children, that the psychiatric community was propping them up and supporting them in these actions, and that Robert Jackson, who was, according to the people, a bisexual, had not told me about that he had a conflict of interest, not that he had to tell me what it was, and continued to cover my case. So my case in New Brunswick, Canada, and this is what made it so very dangerous for Barack Obama and the entire LGBT case, as well as for the Canadians, because they have a coalition with the Francophones in order to support their language policies. This case goes back to this one. The discovery is 1998, and this from New Brunswick, the Law Society. And I was also promoting the Union of North America. Now, I'm going to get into this very quickly. So here we go. That's when I got it out, April the 1st, 2003. So I have been promoting also the unification of North America. I gave them the prophecy of the war that was going to happen in 2002, 2003, and they got it in June of 2001 because I was looking for a time that would be good for the Union of North America. So there's a lot that's there on the table. Now, regarding Palm Beach County, when I went before the Florida Commission on Human Relations in 2012, I had done it because I had a case against services. This needs to go away. In the past, I had repeatedly been denied access to the FCHR in terms of representation for retaliation. The union would do nothing at the EEOC, they would do nothing at the FCHR, and neither did Florida Professional Educators Network. That left me. So I made sure that what was going through with G4S services, they were abusive with the girls. They expected me to commit fraud. They were not providing their resources. They were not providing the food. They were not providing the protection in sleeping. They were not providing the therapy. They were writing off on everything. And to give you some idea, when they let me go under fallacious purposes, instead of hiring somebody to take my position, they pocketed that money that they got. And in fact, they let me go right after their FTE or whatever it's called. They conducted it to make sure that they had all their ducks in a row. It's a completely gross situation, and Florida is so very corrupt that in fact, G4S Youth Services said that they sold G4S Youth Services to BHSH Holdings. They made a big to-do, false news online that was done in 2017 or 2018. When you go in to look for this, it doesn't exist. Then a few months later, they said that they sold it. It was now True Core Behavioral Solutions. When you go in and look up True Core Behavioral Solutions, you will see that it was simply a name change that was done, and G4S Youth Services still has it. Using the work that I had given them, that they have been on my line nonstop, threatening, harassing me, taking over my cell phones, taking over the life of the people that I am with, cyber stalking my family members, going into friends' accounts and sending it to me, sending me email that they are crushing my cell phones, breathing on the other end of my line, invading the privacy of clients when I tried to be an insurance agent, so that I had to back out of that. I couldn't go into education because they invaded my conversations with parents as I was trying to be a teacher. In all these different areas, G4S has been allowed to continue in that area, and they are considered to be legitimate. The Florida Department of of Juvenile Justice knows that this is just a name change, and G4S has expanded its empire, allows itself to go in and cyber stalk and cyber monitor, and it's a British firm. And in fact, the one of the decrees that is most, what's the word I want to say, the AICE, is that what it's called? The Cambridge system. Florida has more AICEs than the rest of the states, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia put together. I mean, what I put out there and what I tried to get G4S to do is say, look, I know that it's a very corrupt state. I know that it's horrible in this state. I'm from New York State. This is how it is. We should put in a region program the way it is in New York State. I actually got notice, trust in the Albany system, right after they closed my case in 2013, and then went into the harassment mode of trying to get me to commit suicide. This is very interesting, and you can see the email that they have out there. So Palm Beach County is linked up to all of these things as well. I had put in an email to the Inspector General who was looking after my case, to their investigator, about the students that were forced to urinate out the back of the portable, which is what I first sent to Butch Mundy. And those names went missing when the whole thing went off the server. 4 different official documents went off my server. Maybe it's, I think, no, wait a minute, it's 5. This is, and Palm Beach County is a part of all of it. My prophecies included work which the government has used in terms of timings for war. And so I'm just going to very quickly put it out there. In 2011, 2010, actually, I went to New Zealand. I didn't go. I contacted them. My former husband was in arrears. He took off and never said goodbye to his children. He went to New Zealand after having left Germany. Germany was wonderful. They forced him to pay. Then he went to New Zealand. New Zealand had been harboring him. I had tried every way to get him to help out because our daughter had an autoimmune disease, to make a long story short, the American Academy of Management was brought in on the case from my end, was there as a witness on my part. New Zealand was doing nothing about what was happening. And 5 days after we contacted them, the first major earthquake hit New Zealand in 2010. That was September the 4th. My records are important to Mr. Trump, and in terms of the world, in regard to freeing up scarce resources, moving into globalization, and helping the earth to heal. I already have a lot of things online, so I want to be very careful about what I'm adding to this, and I don't want to just be taping me talking. So I would like to go in and show the school district what is going to be one of the immediates that we can work with. 2011 was a 4-year. If you add up the numbers together, they equal 4. And I'm not really a numerologist, and I'm not really an astrologer. I'm simply led to what God wants me to do. I'm mathematically and musically gifted. I have witnesses to these things. You're going to get some of these things. I'm going to put them online. There are things that people don't like to do. And believe me, I have tried for many, many years to give my information to the proper people, but the proper people cherry pick what they want. They don't do what they're supposed to be doing. And so we're at a point now where you've reached the wall. 2011 is another 4-year. 2011 was a 4-year. It was full of earthquakes, tsunamis, all kinds of social upheaval. 2020 is another 4-year. When I found the pattern of 2001, that there is a pattern of war when Jupiter goes into Leo in the Middle East and it's expanding, the US military picked up on all of it. When I found the pattern that the United States government and Britain were playing the bad guys in Revelations, the Red Dragon, using the weapons of the god from the underworld, the Apollyon, all of these things. I put all that information out there. I contacted things. I got a hold of people. I said, look, you can't do this way. I went to the military. I went to state senators. I contacted all over so that things wouldn't be used. I went to the Germans. I then went to the Russians so that we didn't have World War III looking after us. So when I put the thing out to the Russians that said, look, 3-year moratorium, just out what you know, nobody's going to be charged. Free up, following as Jesus Christ tells us to do. Free things up, use those resources, and move into geo-regionalism. I also said New Zealand, this is in 2011 that I gave it to G4S in October of 2011, and it landed on Barack Obama's desk. And I know it did. Barack Obama covered everything up, because he had his great Africa thing and his LBG group had their great things that they wanted to do. And then he wanted to have Meghan Markle go into this area that he picked in 2012. He had to wait until after he won the election. Instead of protecting us and looking out for what was going to happen, Barack Obama covered everything up, and his whole administration did. Instead of looking at the necessary changes in the paradigms, Barack Obama covered that all up because it didn't play into what he needed done. He needs your pathology, or this whole group needs your pathology. So I'll get into some of that. Let me go out of here. Let me show you what's going to be at risk here for everybody. In Palm Beach County, I think this is something that you will very much want to be a part of. You will want to you will want to give me a hand. You're going to want to help everybody. This is going to be important to everyone. President Trump would like to have a different type of wall go up, and this is one of an industrial corridor, an industrial research, educational, and power corridor. So let's go in and take a look at this, because this happened shortly after I sent some things up to the embassies. Actually, I sent it February the 5th so that the groups got it right before the end of the presidential address, which is why Pelosi could go like this, because they were going to get what they needed. So let's see if I can switch out of this. Here we go. Oh, good. We're out of this. Yes, we are out of this. Let's see if we can pull this up. I'm hoping so. Yes, here we go. This is what they would be interested in doing. So Palm Beach County, if we can free ourselves up, they can go in and set this up. This is far more important. Some of these things began to propose these things in 2012. Now, this would have happened after my work went on to Mr. Obama's. Yeah, this is so very important. New Zealand having an opportunity. So I'm going to show you where that site is so that you know where to get to it. They actually put it up on the 6th. All right. Please take a look at this because this is really the type of funding that he's looking at. As well, Barack Obama, well, I've already put some of these other things out, but I want to make sure that I get this done before the end of the day. Take a look at this. All right. This is very important, folks. And this is a much better role to put up. These are the kinds of things we could be doing. I have an entire package for education. You think I'm being arrogant. Well, the Mexicans, the Russians, President Trump, others see you and your lying and your scheming and your conniving as being very arrogant because it costs. It just costs. Now, I'm going to let you know some of the primary archetype and paradigm work that I do besides this. So let's go out of this. Actually, I'll go back so that you can take a look at it. That one up, that proposal could go out. Borderdale agrees to no. Here we go. It actually first went up, I believe it was on the 6th. I did a download on the 6th. But here it is online. Now let's go out to Educating with Wisdom. Oh. This is the Educating with Wisdom. Introduction to Palm Beach County 2. The problem was not Trump, it was the Russians. Immediately, I just took a moment, take a look.
About the earthquakes that were occurring and the pattern of earthquakes that were occurring in Christchurch.
They know I'm living in
As it turns out, it was a punishment, but it was also a form of God showing you what was happening.
Here we go. For the ambassadors, my rough draft revision. This was a month ago. Let's see.
Hi. They are in my computer for the embassies. I'm just making a legal note.
Federal lying, this is what you're going to come in under, Palm Beach County. Understand, you're going to come under the federal lying. This is very interesting. Yeah. All right. This is not what I'm looking for. So this is what is so very important because it goes back to 2001 and 2003. Union of North America.
Hi, this is Lynn.
All right. We have this online. I'm going to do another brief one and point it out to you. Just go in there and you will see that. Right after that is when the new proposals went back up. Well, actually, I published this one on February the 5th, 2019. Yes, I guess so. Wow. That was a good time. So I had it out there on time for the, yeah, isn't that great? That was when the president did his address. And so it went up there so that it would be there, so that publicly it would be there. And the people in Congress knew that when we get this information out, you can use this and we can build the geo-regionalism, which is one of the reasons why President Trump could meet with people in the Caribbean recently. So this is there. And I put it up there. I put it up there for the Mexicans so that they make sure that they have it. Now, there's a lot that's there because unfortunately, and I'm just going to speak and I need to go out of this for a moment. I guess I'm going to close down this way, flip this around here. I grew up as a Christian. I questioned so many things because of the Christianity, and I'm going to venture into that in a little while. But first, I'm going to finish this up. You know, I always believed that I had one life. I never expected reincarnation. I didn't. You know, so when I began to get in, first of all, I've known for a long time that I wasn't from here. And when I was about the age of 6, my father bought me a lovely white leather King James version of the Bible and read to me the Genesis story. And I said, the beginning, and I said, that's not true. That's not right. That's not how it happened. So I knew at 6 that had been tampered with and that was incorrect. And by the time I was a teenager, actually by the time I was 9, I knew that I wasn't from here, and I knew my parents weren't my parents. Although my parents are biologically my parents, I knew I wasn't like them. And I knew I didn't think like a lot of people around me. And my teachers stopped me, my 4th grade teacher stopped me and told me I had the highest math aptitude test scores the school district had ever seen. So of course that was going to change things. But I also didn't know, and again, I'm not an astrologer, I'm not a numerologist, but I have found out that with my configuration of astrology, December 12th, 1958, Lynn Ann Schnebley, I have 2 Master 11s, which is really uncommon, and Lynn Ann Schnebley is a Master 11, December 12th, 1958 is a Master 11, Lynn is a 2, and then I have children that are, I'm very loud in it. I have a 7 and 11 son. I have a daughter who was supposed to be born the same time he was, but she was born 11 days later, and she's 722, so you just add 11 to that. He was born and he was 7 pounds 11 ounces. She was 8 pounds 11 ounces. I have a mother who's another Cancer. And so I am that Sagittarius, that is the Guadalupe, that is linked to Artemis of Ephesus. And these are not things I'm comfortable with. I'm not comfortable telling you that I know the Sarah Abraham story. I'm not comfortable telling you that I have an understanding of Mary Magdalene, not of the Virgin Mary, but of Mary Magdalene. I have an understanding of especially the anointing. I have a very visceral understanding of this. I have very knowing, visceral understandings of what's coming up. I have a link. And I tried to explain it to Butch Mundy. It was and to the Law Society, the musica in the universe. So it's really not light. That is the overwhelming thing. It's that little vibrating thing. And because I'm so musical, I don't know. But one of the other things that I realized that was very difficult is that I had also told them that God told me to lead me into my birth date, and then told me to look at various things regarding Queen Elizabeth I. And this is crucial for what's going on with Britain, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and the Commonwealth, and to help it go to where it needs to go to. It's on those documents, the 2001, 2003. And it's related to what I sent to the Russians. It's very difficult for me to address these things. Again, I have a problem with the issues of reincarnation. And I need the Hindus and I need the Buddhists to help me with this. Yeah. So I'm an old soul. So I need to say goodbye for now because the library is going to close and I don't have a place to live, so I have to upload this. I will contact you again, but I have to get some documents out to Palm Beach County and then I have to put the case in. Oh, we have to help the people. Thanks.
turn us off.